hundreds of trillions of dollars coursing through our economic veins, there exists a pathway where no U.S. citizen needs endure poverty. Every child should be shielded from involuntary hunger and thirst. By eradicating greed and corruption, we pave the way forward. This chapter delves into the rationale behind our governmental expenditure and prompts a critical inquiry into how our leaders allocate our resources.
You know, today's been a really, really bad day. Well, I mean, it hadn't been a bad day, but it's been a really, it's like running through mud today. I've got, by the way, I think I'm going to change up the intro videos a little bit. I'm going to keep the outro the same. That's a nice one, but I think switching those intro videos up a little bit, maybe redoing some more, kind of moving up our technical, our aesthetics in there. As I mentioned earlier, you know, really excited about this guest scheduled for today. Joanne, very awesome background. I've watched some of her other stuff. She also does her own podcast. She is a very big giver of herself and money, and a philanthropist. Did I say that right? Look at that. I'm losing people already. Yeah, today's just kind of sucked. Let me move comments. Let me get over to here. Okay. So I had that change. Somebody, she had a death in her family. I'm really sad to hear that. And I just heard about it, and we'd set this up. So I'd really done a lot of advertising, kind of showing off this guest, because it's you know, we always get really, really, really good guests, and then we get guests that have additional credentials and things that move the conversation in even additional ways, and obviously good ways. So I was really excited about this as always. And, you know, it's always a challenge when something happens with the guest at the very last minute. On top of that, I'm going to do something. You know what? I'm going to take myself. No, I'm not. I am going to this is probably going to be one of the last times that I do this show in this studio. As you know, I'm moving to Oklahoma, near my one set of my grandkids and all that stuff. And so I'm going the studio. So I have the new internet set up at the new place in Mangum, Oklahoma, on Friday morning. I've moved the current shows, except I might do one with my granddaughter. You know, I'm starting up that Emma Lynn with Grandpa Rod. I think it's Grandpa Rod. No, it's got to be Grandpa Rod. It'd be better than Grandpa Duff, right? So anyway, we're gonna work on that. But in the meantime, I'm gonna just kind of give you a quick. It's a mess right now because we're moving stuff, and stuff's coming off the shelves and stuff. But I want to give you kind of a little bit of a walk around. I'm not going to move the camera too far because then I got to readjust it. But I think I got enough stuff here to kind of show you guys what's on the other side and down below on the camera. I'm just going to man walk it a little bit. So bear with me on this unusual little thing. But we are going to give you guys a little tour of what's been going on. And I'm going to flip this around right now so I can see what you're seeing. So right now, that's where I sit, right? And this is kind of the studio effect, right? It's really that didn't go well. I don't know if I lost you guys. I'll have to get back. But this is the backdrop. This is what's going on. This is going to be really hard, by the way, to get back to the original controls, but this was originally the lunchroom, and this is where I sit. Don't go too far. You see, if I go around, Other set of lights there. They're going to do a 360. I always talk about, this is some of the supplies for the, the bags and all the shipping containers. There's the dogs. That's Boomer. There. That's Daisy. It's the fish tank. This is called the Shark Tank. There's some of my mom's family memorabilia. Back there, whenever I talk about going back to the office, you go through the Shark Tank. Right there's the front entrance. There's a reception desk right around that wall. Can't see it. I can't go out there. There is a conference room right past that beige wall. There's an opening conference room there with TV and all that stuff. The employee entrance is past that conference room by the window. Take a right, and you go down the stairs, the back stairs, to the back parking lot, right where that window is. And then if you go that way, that's my office. If you keep going around, there's another door, and that's the accounting or bookkeeping or whatever you want to call it. Circle back around here. And then over here, the anatomic courts. If you go through that door, see that brown door. So that ladder is what I've been using to make some of these different lighting adjustments now that I got it all straight. It's all for not, well, it's all for was. Growth is on its way. That door right there is a hallway that leads back up to the front where the reception desk I was telling you. And straight across from this door, across that hallway, is a door where our original studio is and where other materials are stored. This, by the way, is the only desk going with me, besides the one across the way, that wood one. That, my friends, is the first desk I ever owned in business. It's all leather up there, wood. I rarely use it because it's not really efficient these days, but it's my original, it's a keepsake. I'm not a hoarder, so to speak, but I do like that kind of stuff. We all like that, right? Memories you can look back on. Maybe someday the kids or grandkids will see it. Here I'm going back in. Hopefully it's not too messed up. Looks pretty good. See what we look like. And I think I'm a little too close here, aren't I? Ooh, yeah, a little too close. So this is what I do usually when it's off camera. I do all this messing around. That should be okay. See, do I have all the blue in there, right? I got the right height and all that. So looks good. Everything else is hidden like I usually try to do here. Oh, we've got a few people on. How you doing? I hope you've been hearing me. I've been giving a tour of this is, like I said, one of the last shows in this studio. So I almost shifted over a little bit to the right there, but that's all right. Looks like lighting's all good. You guys saw the dogs. As I told you, our guest today, actually, sorry guys. Our guest today, very important subject and guest. She had a tragedy in the family, a death in the family. So we had to, at the last minute, kind of scramble, move things around. Sorry, I'm moving some stuff back into place. Otherwise, I'll run into funny things. So now that we're working all that out, we're going in and now talking about the move a bit. And we have a lot of people asking us about sponsorships. Those things we're going to be sending out information next week. This week is becoming a torture, though, So I'm doing this all by myself, except I've got a buddy who's kind of, let's call it so I can continue doing the shows. He's making some of the phone calls and on specifically the moving part of the studio and the apartment. So, hey, I appreciate you guys coming here. Kind of a crazy change. You know, these things happen at the end and they make it more difficult. Cheers to you. On Friday, meaning today's Tuesday, then there's Wednesday. I might be leaving then. We're likely Thursday early or really late Wednesday, drive through the night. Because my internet, and I'm going to take part of this, try and make a makeshift studio in the new studio. And that's all being prepared now down there. I haven't seen any results yet. Hopefully, a little risky, little timeline cutting close. I mean, I don't have to be out of here until the 31st, but you know, I'm spending funds here without being there yet. And that concerns me because I'm running down to the end, and that's why we're really hoping for your support. Please subscribe. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Keep supporting us. It's really been an awesome ride, folks, and we really love what's going on and want to do this for the rest of our lives because it's an important mission. It's an important story. Thank you guys for jumping on. I appreciate it. And I apologize about the late notice on the change of venue, so to speak, or the change of subject here. So we're going to do our best to make the most of it. Probably be a shorter show. The people who are just coming on now, go back earlier in this show by probably a few minutes, right, guys? And you'll see I did a tour of the little area because this is going to be one of our last shows. If not, right now it's scheduled for our last show. I may do one with my granddaughter. We've been talking a lot about that. And she's just I would call her an influencer, but she's just a baby. She's just kind of saying, this is interesting, kind of thing. And so she's feeling her way. So I thought, you know what, let's jump on. Her uncle, my son Brandon, is an influencer. Of course, we're totally different people, all of us. But I think it'd be interesting. I don't have the looks or the credibility to talk about young, women's issues, living today. And we're talking about how the trends are on like TikTok, the generations today, the only thing they watch is fighting videos, which kind of surprised me. So anyway, interesting stuff. I think we're going to unveil, going to try and start off with at least maybe close to a half hour. I don't know how, we're just going to be bringing her along and all that. So it'll be fun, though. I really hope to see a lot of you there. I see my good friend here. Jeffrey is, thanks for showing up live, even with the changes. Much love. Jeffrey, thank you very much. It's tough, especially right now. I mean, it's always tough because, I feel bad because we are all developing this relationship together, and we have guests that come talk to our community and our family and talk about the things that are important to the great middle class. And when that shifts really quick, it's life. This is live. I am, though, starting to talk to some people about taking these lives and then kind of just freshening them up a little bit. And then reintroducing them, with a little bit of B-roll and some additional depth, a little bit more. And then I'm also going to change. I'm going to update the playlists, specifically on YouTube. But I'm going to start updating those playlists. And we're also we just kind of kicking off the second part of this thing, but we are now going to be setting up and having everything go through our website. So we'll have the guests be able to go right onto the website. There'll be an embedded link for, whatever the guest situation is. And then we'll be able to have landing pages for people who are looking for this information or that information, kind of the next more, I guess, structured and easier. Instead of me saying we stream here, it's just more streamlined to be able to say let me pull you back off here, Jeffrey. Thank you. I appreciate your love, man. Appreciate it. But going through our website, and that's easy. I mean, it's www, obviously, rodduff.com, RODDDUFF.com. And we will run, maybe some of the community conversations, the coffee and tea time for AI and automation. Let's call it a channel, right? What did I call it yesterday? A lane. Let's call it a lane. And then there's right here inside, and that's that coffee and tea time and the class that's over at school, which is, go and see it. I mean, you can check it out. It's got a little bit of information in there, but and you can jump in and right now it's just kind of hanging out free, waiting for watching the things develop. And then there's the community that's also there. So I'm starting to show up with that, but that community right now is going to be shifted over from coffee and tea time into that community, just because it makes more sense. We're doing, and then we have, like I said, we're doing a lot of things, and then we have, we're still. When I go to Oklahoma, I'm getting back in with the VA because that's an important path. That's an important lane. So I want to have these distinct lanes, and then within them have the playlist. So it's easier for people that are looking for, like a library. You're able to break that down and take a look and see what you're looking for. Not spend all day looking, although that's not, it's not bad to spend all day looking from my standpoint. But yeah, guys, subscribe, please subscribe, like the videos. When you like them, send them to somebody else, forward them. Let's keep this momentum going. It's funny, we're going through a little bit of we're getting a bunch of people or subscribers, and then we're getting some fall off. I don't know how that all works. It never happened that way. It was just, before we started, it was all flat. There was nothing. And then we started shooting up in a nice vein. And now that we're bringing on, I think, so much more stuff, I don't know. It seems to be evolving as the channel. So it's all these stats that I watch and enjoy, that give us that information. So I really, let's keep this momentum going. We're coming together as a society, as a people. People are literally, I talk to people on the street every day about what we're talking about here, and it's important, and people feel that importance and thrive and thirst for the information that's part of that. So we're really looking at now cleaning up the aesthetics of the show. Not necessarily the aesthetics, but the aesthetics on the side of the user, let's call it. From being a computer, in the machinery business, you have a user, right? And at the user interface. So, to be able to have the education freely flow, which is what it already does. So we're checking that box. We're filling that half of the barrel. and then there's but easy to find. And, I was talking to, I got new glasses, a backup pair, because I'm moving out into a place unknown, which I'm so excited about, because we've talked about this. It fills out more layers, more color in those layers of the great American middle class, because let me bring that down a little bit, a little too much shine in the glass. But when we were talking about the show, and I needed to make sure I had internet, a little bit of food, definitely do food for the dogs. I don't want them eating me. And then everything that I'm taking here down there, and some backup glasses, because without them, it's not near as easy to see. nor is it easy at all or possible to see stuff that I should see, especially when there's lower light. You guys know what I'm talking about, or smaller letters. And apparently this eye is way worse than this eye. This eye makes it able to see what I do see, which it's not like I'm blind or anything, but I'm just very bad vision, whatever that's supposed to be. So yeah, I'm starting to dive into, and you saw some of the mess going around because we're pulling cables and, getting things ready for the boxes that are coming in, and then the packing up of everything, and then the loading onto the truck, and then me running my ass down there with the dogs and a cot in the back that we'll just rough it for, I don't know, probably a few days anyway. And then meanwhile, the stuff I was showing you in that video tour I was doing earlier, for you guys that are just coming on, like I think it was 8, 9, 10 minutes in, somewhere in there, guys, right? The other people that were here, just really giving a pan of what everything looks like that has always been behind and underneath the picture frame that we have put up here and to the sides. So now we're going to be, I pretty firm believe that this is going to be the last show in this studio. We started out in the studio straight across the way. There's a door there that goes into a hallway that goes back to the reception desk and front office. And there's a side door into the accounting office. And then if you go straight through, you go into a receptionist desk. You can circle back around and come this way. You can go circle back around the reception and either go right to the conference room or left into my office, which I also have a door to the accounting room, a glass door that we just keep in communication. Is what it is. Actually, that door is usually open. So that's kind of the layout. And, it's going to be a short show. I just wanted to get on and not be on for you guys, at least give you some time, and any questions that you come on. Jeff, I appreciate your comment. As you can tell, it's been a lot of long days. I've been up since 3 this morning. I've been up since 3, didn't get to bed till like 12 after midnight. I don't know exactly, but I just couldn't sleep because, all the stuff's going on. Is that done? Is that done? I'm doing it all myself, and which is great. But I really apologize to all the folks that I've been talking about this show to, because it's a really dynamic message today. And then here I walk out on stage and say, hey, it's me. Let's chat, which I hope is all still a good thing, but not to the expectations that we have. So we've got some really awesome guests coming up, a lot of AI. We've got a lot more current events, and right now is a wild time in actually the world, right? There's a lot of stuff that's being uncovered, a lot of Hail Marys being thrown, a lot of accusations, a lot of denials. It feels like that point in time where things that are shifting are giving the opposing forces, whichever way, is giving their last gasp, and really trying to throw everything at it that they can stay with their current mantra, their current whatever. I'm not pointing fingers at either side. You guys make your own decisions at where that all falls out, but it's a really pivotal time. So we're leaning back in, and I talked to some of the people that I do work with as far as receiving questions and so forth from guests, because we get a ton of them. And I was always involved, but now they're trying to keep me out, so so we can be here and they can just keep doing that at least. And but as we're starting to see now, there's a lot more interest in the show, meaning more people that have additional accolades. I mean, all our guests are awesome. You guys see the show. You guys are here because of the guests and their expertise. But the word, because of you the audience and your activity in their discussions with me always comes back to the guests saying, God, that was amazing. Your audience, meaning you guys, are fantastic. This is something I rarely, if ever, experience. And these guys do this for a living. You know, they go out and they talk to people and they spread word. Well, I don't know about for a living, but they're out here doing this because they know this. This is a place, as others are, that they can now help and spread what we are all spreading, which is information about the needed adjustments we have coming and currently need or are involved in, or whatever word you want to use, in today's society to make us a better society, a better people, to build our inner strength, to build our mental strength, to build our holistic, our health, our financial strength. Next, okay, I've shut off the rest of this week. I moved the one on Thursday, who, by the way, I'll tell you more about her. She's a Genovese. So quite a history there. That's going to be an interesting conversation. But we've got some really, really cool guests coming up. And on the 20, I think it's Thursday is when the next one, and we have we have 3 shows that day now. They overbooked it. Something happened, but they're flooding in, you know. And on that day, the first show is a gentleman that is extremely well known in not only the financial, but also the AI, you know, the trading, you know, going from retail. Check out it's no secret. I'm just going to let you guys look a little bit. I mean, that's, you know, they're you know, all the information's there. Oh, Ronaldo, how are you? Get to you in a second. Each of the nameplates on the shows, you know, as on YouTube specifically, let's just go there. Soon to be on our own website. On the website we already have, www.rodduff, RODDDUFF, .com. And it's, you know, there's all this stuff sending out. You know, Ronaldo and I have talked about this. You know, you've got your station on Instagram and on X and on LinkedIn and you know, each one of these, and it's all cool. But if everybody just needs to know, which they do, www.rodduff.com. Also embedded on there will be, and we have a meeting. Actually, we have a meeting at 2 today. I'm so tired though. I'm so freaking tired, and we're moving, so it's also going to be physical. And I'm not 28 anymore, so I've got a little bit of help on that side. Some big boys, some friends, younger bucks, much younger bucks. I wouldn't even be called a buck anymore. So, well, I don't know. Maybe I got a little buck in me, right? You know, you got to be that if you're going to be out in nature, right? Some of us have been talking about the whole grid thing, and or I should say off the grid thing. And my boys and I have talked about that a lot. I've talked to some people on the show quite a bit about it. And this is the landing spot to be that next step, which is very exciting. But it's, you know, it's that next step. It's getting ready. It's, you know, I've been working out quite a bit, you know, from 3 years ago. I had that motorcycle accident. I was just toast. I mean, skin torn. I had, you know, all sorts of things. Fortunately, my skin pretty much healed. I got a little bit of this and that didn't, the melanin is way more white than, you know, sun tanning. You can see patches here and there. I've shown them before. There's like a dot here and the thing on my elbow. I dislocated my kneecap, so that knee skin's got a bit of a tap there. So, but now I've just been having some very cool conversations about what I've always wanted, but now thinking there's actually a way to it. That's what's cool about this show. Much of what we aren't able to achieve is because we don't know that we can, or how to, or even doing research, where are we experienced in being able to do those different things. And that's why a good team is a good team, because they bring their expertise and, bring this and bring that and that idea. You know how many ideas I've received from the friends of this show, and people who do sporadic input versus, people that regularly say stuff, right? But you know how much input that is? You know how valuable it is to know things, to have access, like the elites have access to much more because they have more access. They have more financial means. They have all that. And for us to get there, we've got now AI on our hand, which makes the little guy be able to compete with the big guy, but you got to be ready. You got to learn. That's why we're doing the classes. And then we also have not me. We have you. We have Ronaldo. We have Jeff. We have somebody else was just jumping on here. Chris Hanna. Wow, energy is everything. Keep it going. I'm glad you said that, Chris, because I am trying to push, and I'm going to sleep good tonight because been up since 3:00, and the first part of that was all moving. I met some of the mover guys, some of my buddies here, and we were marking things that are going to the dump and things that, hey, dude, you want that? Sure. I've got 4 of them. I don't need that. So, giving some extra cool stuff and, just having fun with it. But we got here. So I got up at 3. I had to do all the prep work for this today. So I had to do it early. I didn't get to work out today, which is what I usually do. I get up in the morning, work out, get a good sweat going, and then boom, you're ready. But so I popped that one off. I'm fine. I got to do this, right? I have to be I'm an Okie now, or I will be an Okie. Technically, I'm an Okie because I own the house outright, but I'm going to be an Okie soon. But the internet for doing the show is scheduled for between, in the morning of Friday, this coming Friday. So now I've got like handoff to the Packers, and my buddy and that team will put the loading on, and then we've got a specific driver going down, and then I'm driving the dogs down. I'm going to take, I don't know, what would you call it? A skeleton, the camera, obviously. At worst case, we'll use the engineer. This is a really powerful laptop. Our engineering group used to use these because it was all CAD and, and 3D and a lot of stuff. So that one of these will work for sure. Then I've got some additional small lighting. I've showed you that stuff. Producer Barbie and her son Matt, who we spent basically his whole childhood together. I bought that for me when I first started messing around with this a few years back for Christmas. And I thought, this is really cool. You can mount your iPad or your phone, and it's got that dome light, and you talk to it. And I've used that a couple of times trying to mess around with doing different. But anyway, we got that with the light and that. I'm going to try and do these side lights you guys saw earlier. They're obviously professional lights, and just depends on if I can pull that off or not. Size wise, I've got a Alfa Romeo SUV Janus model. That's the name, and it's 10-hour drive. Bringing my dogs, bring this mat. So the back seats are laid down. My mattress for this, we have we don't anymore. We used to have a little sleeping area right across the way in a studio, and I would put the mat was there for nights like last night where you're working late, and then I just crashed there or something. We had another thing going, and that was also part of it. But now all of that is going down south, obviously. But I'm using that as, I just don't know how I'm going to do the dog pads because I can't put all of that in there before I just do the dog pads because it was perfect for them. And it was a lot thinner, so it was easier to see. It was better for me, not for them. But I can't do both because I've got to put some of this stuff in there. So it'll come down the truck, but that's a couple days later. So I don't know, they're gonna have to deal with it, you know. What else did I want to talk about? Let's see, what do we got? Ronaldo, I haven't gotten to you yet. Give me something smart to say. I bet this had to be hard to leave, but happy to see what's coming next. Exactly. And you know exactly why I'm saying that. I'm really excited to see what happens next. I'm happy to see what happens next in a lot of things. And let's just take one of those things. We've talked a lot. As a matter of fact, a lot of questions have been asked. I was going to make this short. I do want to keep it as short as possible. But I love this too much, so I can easily be extended, so to speak. Let's take an easy one out of the many things, Ronaldo, that I'm very excited about what's happening in the future. You guys have already seen the home. I don't know. I don't know if I know I've sent it out on social media just to kind of, it's that cottage, and that's what I want. You know, I'm that kind of old school, rustic, you know, some nice little flowers out front. There's a couple of gravel parking drive-in spots. I'm going to change that to price, maybe cobblestone. I don't know. It depends. This is all coming down the road. I'm not pulling money out of my pocket right now. I'm looking at every freaking dollar so that I can at least make it down there. So I don't own a home outright, but I'm homeless because I can't get to it. No, the small stuff's really growing, and that's helping not spend as much money along the way. It's really extended our ability to operate. This is right in front of my face, isn't it? Or is it? I don't know. I can't tell. It looks like it on the camera, but it doesn't over here. So that's been awesome. Guests are pitching in saying we understand what the costs are, and because we also send that social media out, and that's it takes time and stuff, and it's not like we're trying to earn an income here yet. Well, now we're trying to earn an income because I'm going down to Oklahoma and there's nobody for hours. I'd have to. Oh my God, I would not live with my kids. I mean, they'd love it. They begged me so many times, but I don't know. I want to have a quality life, but I'm afraid I'm not going to have. You notice I said quality life, not quantity. I want both. Everybody wants both, but I would hate to see my children see me be less of something. There's a reason I say that. We all have relatives who have passed, and there's different experiences you get, and those experiences are left with you. And that's one of the reasons that really this whole medical thing, and that's another thing we're going to be talking about next week, is a lot about this new administration is really doing some neat things. At least it's looking like that's going that way. And there's always fighting and political bullshit that happens. Hey, thanks. A bunch more people came on. I appreciate you guys coming on. Ask some questions. I told you our guest Joanne, awesome guest. I'm very excited. You guys saw the marketing I did on that, but she had a death in the family, and so obviously, right. Man, my voice is hoarse now. Jesus criminy. So we did a pivot here, and we're talking about the move, and we're talking about the new location. We're talking about a lot of the sponsorships that are coming on. We're going to be sending some of that information out. There's people wanting to sign up early do early signups so they can get in and take a look and get some little extra stuff. And we're going to be shifting the morning coffee and tea time which is an AI discussion into the community. And we're going to be running everything through the website, which has been up for a little bit. It's just been sitting there, though. It's just kind of, I did all this to write because I'm writing a book, which I've stopped. Every day I want to get back on it now because it's ready. There's been like 5 or 6 guests that have said, "Hey, would you send me that? I'm really interested," because the book, this show is based on the book, literally chapter by chapter. We talk about the school system, healthcare system, school educational system. Myself and the last person we had on, she's a teacher, and she's advocating for some better school structure and ways that schools operate. And so I said, go on with what you're saying, but I have this idea. And I think with the new administration and the restructuring of the school system, I think our educational system, I think even Europe's has got a better one, just because it's checking, it's involved in your life until you start heading down a path, whether that be athletics or medicine or this, because you get in my opinion, you get a much better education, although the whole educational system is cattywampus right now. But this is a thought that I have, especially with Doge going on right now. There is a lot of money potentially. Now, again, this is all kind of back and forth in the being, tennis match in the frickin' media, but and I don't know that I've seen anything really come about. Now the tariffs are bringing in a bunch of money. There's all this stuff, but right now we spend, what did we say it was the other day? $16.7 trillion a year. Currently, right? Not just this person's fault or that person's fault. It's what we spend. And they're showing hundreds of billions and literally equaling up to trillions and trillions of dollars. Reason I talk about that, if that all comes about, which I have no reason, I've always, Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. Everything that I hear coming out that isn't just an attack, everything coming out that isn't an attack seems to be pointing to this administration is doing exactly what they promised, and which doesn't happen at all, really. More importantly, if what they're doing is what they promised, and that's happening, and that turns out to be, oh my God, look at this. Look at all this, man. The reason I bring that up is because with the educational system now, the educational system is actually illegal to our Constitution. Currently it is. And this is what we're talking about, because our educational system by Constitution is not allowed to be connected to the government. And right now they're like, that's what that is. Now that's being broken down. By law, it's supposed to be governed by the states. And that's not really the case. It's governed by the Democrats, kind of thing. Let's just say it's governed by the government. I don't think anybody can deny that. Maybe there's some loophole that says, oh, but no, it's, I don't know, whatever. With that being brought down, with Doge happening, with people coming together and becoming more important because it's a bulk knowledge of things that we all believe in, and come together to say, we all believe this, not riot over Antifa or being Antifa or Palestine or whatever bullshit that stuff all is. Whether I'm this in political, I'm not even making an opinion politically. I'm just saying, if these are American students on American colleges on those campuses that we pay for, and the government gives them endowments, of billions of dollars. Why is that happening? And why are we as a society, I think finally it's starting to change, but why have we? Because how does that help America? Everything, it was said back, the founder said, look, any major or important decision or action that affects the American people must be approved, must be done through the American people. So in other words, we hire people at whatever level to go represent our needs. The problem is, where the breakdown is, we're just hiring anybody to go in there. And when they get in there, they have this separation of us, that separation of us, Hispanic, people of color, African American, whatever the name is now, women, Palestinians, Jews, and all these little boxes give the government the ability to divide and conquer. But at the end of the day, all these little differences come together and say, yeah, but every one of us, let's say 89%, let's say 99, whatever the number is, have at dinner room, you got some kids, you got a wife, a husband, whatever, you got a family, and you're sitting around and going, how are we going to make it with this or that? That's the issue. That's the thing that they don't want us to focus on, because it puts them out of power. They have to be accountable. So setting that aside, that is all so awesome that we're going there and we're getting there. We have AI coming next that does finances. We have 3 current events, political subjects being covered over the next few days, meaning next week and then the next few days. We have my granddaughter, Emma, coming on. I talked to my son, Brandon, about his Brandon Duff at Brandon Duff. That's his YouTube channel. His show called Be Money, and it's a financial thing. As far as running, not only just Bitcoin, I sent some information out on it. Go check out some of the shorts. We have our new logo coming up. You're starting to see probably some rebranding, some movement of the show, and it's color, it's brand, whatever. That's kind of getting a little more dialed in. I'm sure it'll change more than once again. And I mean, we've got a lot of shows coming up. I unfortunately was just adding them in, just starting to, because I'm like 2 weeks behind on adding so what happens is somebody contacts me or us through something, typically through Matchmaker FM, matchmaker.fm. And no, it's not a dating site. Technically, it's a dating site for hosts and guests for podcasts. Obviously, podcasts mostly are vocal. We are live stream with you wonderful people, because I don't know, you couldn't get this interaction. You couldn't get, every one of our guests have always said, this has been a great show. Your audience is so smart, and what they do is and I have to moderate a little bit, because sometimes I try my best to keep the questions in line with what they're talking, to go back over it a couple of times. That's when it works perfectly. Sometimes it doesn't, but that's when we start jumping around, and that's even more fun. But anyway, the guests love it. You guys love it. So, we're doing something pretty good there. What other shows are coming up? I didn't just, oh man. Hold on. I just hit my power button, I think. Boom. I'm back. Well, I was never gone, but I couldn't hear me. So what else do we want to talk about? I've got this automation starting where there is going to be some information sent out, and then it's going to look at what people wanted off of that. Let's say it's an email going out and somebody clicks on something, and it'll be able to follow up and say, are you interested in this or that? This is a automation I did 14 years ago or something through a company called Salesforce, and their plugin called Pardot. Now, just to give you an example of the difference between now and then, I'm doing a very similar thing. It's simpler to use. It's more comprehensive. Well, I can't verify that yet, but I think from what I see, it's more comprehensive. And that other one cost me, just to set it up, just to train us on it, was $14,000 and some odd dollars. And then it was like $1,000 a month on top of it was $900 a month because of the seats, which I restricted just to keep the cost down. And then another $1,200 a month. I think it was $1,200 a month for the seats that the other people used, just the database. And then there was an engineering side, and then there was an accounting side, which we used separately. But anyway, all that stuff costs a ton of money. It was good. It was ahead of its time, but it wasn't as good as this. And look, I don't know. I think I'm good here. I hope you guys are all good. We got some people to come on. I appreciate that. Sorry, this thing was all screwed up. Let's give me a chat, Ronaldo, and tell me what's going on and happening in your world these days. And all you guys, man, let's keep in contact. Let's keep talking about things. Let's see what we can do to make the world a better place, and it takes places like Insights and Straight Talk. I'm so glad to be here. The host, and my name's Rod Duff, and I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here, and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.